You know what I'm talking about? They walk like robots because they don't want to break the crease. And once they break the crease, it means that they got to get a new pair of tennis. I just take the old tennis. You can keep on giving me the old tennis because I'm not concerned about the creases. But that puts you in a fix. And then later on, as you become elevated in God, God sometimes in your destiny will place you in a fix. And in that fix, you must realize that you must depend on God. When we look at this 31st chapter, we look at the mere fact that there's some characters involved by the name of Jacob. And Jacob had an uncle by the name of Laban. And Jacob married two wives, Rachel and Leah. And as the text begins to now open up, we here find that if you had followed us back 5 or 6 chapters earlier, you'll found that Jacob left home 20 years ago in a scheme that he did against his brother Esau. He stole his birthright from his brother, and then his mama plotted. So in the midst of it, things got hot. And being getting hot, Esau swore that he will kill Jacob. Jacob ended up leaving home with his mama's permission. Go down and be with your uncle Laban for a while. Well, when he got there, he still had some tricksters in it. You know, some of us still saved, but we still got some game in us. We got some street stuff in. Don't sit here and act like you all holy and dying and act like you've been saved all your life. Jacob was a trickster. And the Bible said when he got there and met his family and met his uncle had a daughter by the name of Leah. And he had one by the name of Rachel, but his eyes had found favor on Rachel. Y'all ain't hear me? And the text says when he saw Rachel, it was love at first sight. And his uncle declared, in the midst of being here, son, you need to get your job. And they came to a covenant, which means agreement. They decided that they would work for one of the daughters. He says, you work 7 years, I'm going to give you Rachel. Well, Jacob worked hard, and at the end of the 7th year, Uncle had some tricksters in here. Y'all ain't here. See, you can act like you the only one can out-slick some folks, but sometimes you just meet up with those that got the gift of gab. Y'all ain't here. If you ever met one of them folks that got the gift of gab, I mean, they got a story for a story. And then after you tell your story, they got another story. Here, we find Laban began to trick his nephew. He says, I tell you what, in those days, they would put a veil upon them, and he told him to go in the tent, and when he went in there and slept with her, he found out the mere fact that he was given the wrong wife. Jacob got upset, and when he found out, he said, this wasn't the deal. Laban said, I tell you what, I promise you that I will give you Rachel. You got Leah. Leah was not attractive. Leah was cross-eyed. Leah didn't look that good. Y'all ain't hear it. But his hope was set on Rachel. And so what the uncle said was, the mere fact I need you to work 7 more years, I'll give you Rachel. We went by, they had a honeymoon, he gave his daughter Rachel. Now the text begins to move on. 14 years go by. 7 years for each daughter. Then 6 years he worked as a hardship or herdmanship over the cattle. He now works 20 years and comes to the conclusion that I'm tired of this mess. Your daddy is using me. He calls the girls out in the field, have a conversation. We want you to gather things up, and we're going to move back, and we're going back home to where my daddy is. The text opened up with the mere fact that now they have left. They ran. They slipped away during the night. Y'all ain't here. And he got his family together. Bible said he did a 3-day journey. Now he up the road, and here Laban catches up with him. In the meantime, Laban falls asleep, and God tells Laban, you be careful what you say to Jacob, because I got my hands on Jacob. You see, when God has his hands on you, he says, whether it be good